We are back with The Daily Law from Robert Greene. It's been such a great book for me. We're going to talk about maximizing your learning potential, and I'm going to read the excerpt from February 11th. Enter the cycle of accelerated returns. That which we persist in doing becomes easier to do. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our power to do so has increased. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I love that quote. Let me read it one more time. That which we persist in doing becomes easier to do, not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our power to do has increased. In an activity such as riding a bicycle, we all know that it is easier to watch someone and follow their lead than to listen to or read instructions. The more we do it, the easier it becomes. Even with skills that are primarily mental, such as computer programming or speaking a foreign language, it remains the case that we learn best through practice and repetition, the natural learning process. We learn a foreign language by actually speaking it as much as possible, not by reading books and absorbing theories. The more we speak and practice, the more fluent we become. Once you take this far enough, you enter a cycle of accelerated returns in which the practice becomes easier and more interesting, leading to the ability to practice for longer hours, which increases your skill level, which in turn makes practice even more interesting. Reaching this cycle is the goal you must set for yourself. The Daily Law: everything worth doing has a learning curve. When it gets hard, remember the goal: reaching the cycle of accelerated returns. Love it, Robert Greene. I love it. You know I do. You know I do. Wow. So profound. So powerful. Now, we can all apply this to our life in some way, maybe something current, maybe something in the past where you've experienced this. You clearly knew that you would never be able to be a master at what you were working towards until you actually put the work in, which often comes with a lot of discomfort, right? It is so much easier to put things off than to put the work in. But the value of time, you must trust the process. Mastery in anything takes time. I would love for you to share in the comment section how you interpreted what I read and how it applies to your life. I'm going to read something to you. I have a document saved titled Books to Consider, okay? Not books to read, books to consider. I'm going to pull it up. When someone recommends a book to me, or I just hear someone talk about the book, if I have a feeling within me that gives me a little bit of a desire to read it, maybe because the person who is talking about it, I see some qualities about them I admire. So that may entice me a little bit to have a desire. Not entice me to read the book, entice me to have the desire. Because at the top of my Books to Consider document, here's what it says. Write this down. Read books that solve your problems. Don't read books about the problems other people have. Read books that solve your problems. Don't read books about the problems other people have. This has saved me a lot of time. This has saved me a lot of time because I often find that many of the books others read could be the latest and greatest, okay? It's the new thing out there. Or I can see through researching the book that this would be an area that would be a problem for them to fix. Let's talk about a book on habits. Many people have a hard time not necessarily establishing habits, but following through to actually make them a habit. They have a desire to have a habit to do this, but they're not making it happen. That a book on habits could correct a problem for them, fix a problem for them. If it's an area where you're strong, which is where I'm strong in habits. My habits get done. I just did a video on my habit tracker. Habit tracker. My habits get done. Read books that solve your problems. Don't read books about the problems other people have. That means I wouldn't read that book, although it may have gotten a spot on my books to consider. And that's when I eliminate it. So how do you know that? Well, you listen to a few YouTube videos of people that summarize the book. Okay, so you get a book summary, and then you find out, wow, I'm strong in that suit. Now, how does that tie in with what I read today? Well, I clearly believe that we grow by the doing, not by just the reading, not by just filling our minds. And what I have found is most people are so consumed in filling their minds by the reading, the listening, the watching videos, that they're not actually applying the skills, and that is what makes us grow. That is what makes us learn. It's the tangibles, the doing, where we actually increase and expand. So to maximize your learning potential, my message for you today is to challenge yourself what you're actually doing to learn it. Are you consuming yourself with the research and the theories and the how-tos, but you're not actually applying it? When this video publishes, I should have started something new in my life that will be a habit, that will be a discipline, and that will come with a lot of pain and discomfort. But it is a desire of something that I've wanted to learn. So let's go back to what Robert talked about with the foreign language. Let's say it was foreign language, learning a foreign language. It's not, no desire. I at this stage of life, I wouldn't put it to practice. So I don't have a desire. Again, it's not going to solve a problem for me right now in my life. But there is something that I want to do, to grow, to learn, to expand, that will bring value to my life. But when I film this, I haven't actually embarked on it yet, but I will be very soon. Within probably a few days, I will be getting that new learning curve for me started. I've done very little research, just enough, because what I've found is different ideas on how to do it, and I've kind of created my own method based on a little bit of research. But most people cloud themselves with research, which just leaves them stuck in actually not getting the job done. They become complacent. They procrastinate because they're so flooded. They don't know who to listen to, how to do it. Well, it's because you've flooded yourself. Look at weight loss, diet, exercise, how to eat. So many of my clients come to me so confused. One person says this, one person says that. The first thing I say is, well, what are you applying? Let's talk about what you're applying right now. Well, they usually aren't. They're stuck because they're in confusion world, and they created that monster. So keep it minimal. Keep your research small and simple. Take a few nuggets and then create your own method. And that is what I'm doing with what I'm about to embark on, which is going to be really stretching me. It's going to be a real learning curve for me. Again, if we used foreign language as the metaphor. But I'm not going to cloud myself to where I'm so exhausted from the knowledge and all the different ways of doing it. It's going to be in the doing, in the actual physical, tangible doing that I will learn the most, and I will adapt. I may change and tweak things until I get it right, and then it's the daily practice of doing it over and over and over and over and over, because that is how we create mastery in anything that we do. It is in the repetition. So that was the biggest thing that I took away from this, not only for myself, but also when I work with clients, what I'm witnessing, what I'm observing that they are doing that actually is holding them back from actually learning something new. So we want to maximize our learning potential. We don't want to sabotage it. And most often that is what's happening. Yeah. So share with me. What did you get from today, and how did this apply to your life? Are you reading books about problems other people have? I'd love to know that. Or are you reading books and listening to podcasts to solve your problem? Okay. I've had so many people recommend books to me that are on something I'm super strong at. Why would I want to read that? No, we only have so many hours in a day. I want to be stretched, not just confirm that I'm good in that area. I've read a few books and I've ended the book saying, wow, I just read a book on an area I'm super strong in. That was kind of a waste of my time. Not that it wasn't a great book and not one that I wouldn't recommend to many people. I guess I have that little bit of value, but it makes no sense with the limited time that I have to stretch, to attempt to stretch myself in an area I'm already stretched, if that makes sense. But we also have to put things to practice. So be careful with the research, apply, do the work, get the job done, and you will expand and increase your learning potential.